Guevara, Upanga, Guevara, and Egniao. And the young Australian team, really a dark horse, really, for a place here. Ralph, Gregson, Williamson, and West. They're running really well. Most of their men can get round about the 146 mark, I think, if they push themselves. But can they get close to this particular team, who could really get under the world record? Rotic, Korongo, Inyo, and Kipketur. Well, they're just having to go back to the start line again before they go through. But the Kenyans already hold that world record, set back in 2002 in Brussels. And a very strong Polish team there with Radanski and Schott, two top men to look out for in this race.
Well, the interesting things here, Steve, notice that the Poles have got their two best athletes on the last two legs, whereas the Spaniards have got their two best athletes on the first two legs.
Well, it's a tactical race, this, really, 4 by 800 metres. You've got to really think it through, because if you put your worst guys on the first couple of legs, you could be behind, but then that gives the two best men something to chase. Whereas if you take the other option of going hard first, you give the other athletes maybe something to chase after.
And I know it might sound like a silly point, Steve, because they're not travelling at the same speeds under quite the same pressure in terms of changeovers, but I wonder whether one or two of these quartets have almost taken the changeovers for granted and not actually bothered. It's not inconceivable, because they don't necessarily do an awful lot of these distance relays, it's not inconceivable that they might misjudge the pace, as the athlete coming in could tire significantly, as you well know, over the last 5-10 metres in an 800 metres.
Oh, and at 800 metres, if you've given everything you've got, you are coming in quite slowly, I'm afraid, of the last 10 metres or so. But having said that, it's going to be difficult to see, I think, whether, you know, tactics are going to be an issue here. If the Kenyans go off hard, they'll be chasing them as much as they can. The American team, I think, could do that. They could chase the Kenyan team. It could be an interesting race if they do that. Whereas I think the Australians, maybe and the Spanish teams, they'll be fighting it out maybe for 3rd and 4th places. But wait and see. Well, Chariot here, just limbering up just before the start. And as I say, world semi-finalist in 2013. Best of 144.38. So you can see that most of the Kenyan team can dip under that magic 144. And if we get below that 145 for every single member, it will be a world record. But looking at the flags, they are dropping. So that's an important factor too.
And given their PB, Steve, as you say, Kenya in particular, all of them just about the slowest guys on the team, 145.3 Karongo. But with a running start, how much is that going to take off that PB? That PB from a standing start, of course. Is the momentum going to make a difference when they're doing an 800 metre, an 8-lap relay?
I don't know. It's going to be a question mark. We have to wait and see. I mean, that's the thing. They haven't got David Rudisha too. Look at that. I mean, you take out that man, the world record holder, Olympic champion, and you can still field a team that could break the world record. But there's the lineup: Poland, Kenya, Australia, Uganda, Spain, Slovakia. And the big two, I suppose, there's the United States having to share the team, or I should say their lane with Slovakia. Kenyans in lane 2, the one to watch, I suppose. As we said, the lead there going for them, 144 man. Let's just wait and see what sort of tactics they're going to produce. Are they going to go off hard? There is a bonus of $50,000 if they do break that world record. That's got to be an incentive, hasn't it?
It surely has, I believe, and I think the Kenyans have got a good man with Ferguson Rotic's Chariot to do just that on the first leg for them. He really emerged on the world scene last year, and I think he's one of those guys who like to go out hard. So this, the first final of the IAAF World Relays. It's the men's 800 metres, and left almost on his blocks at the start there was the Ugandan. And it is indeed the Kenyan Chariot who's showing strongly. Right on the outside, the United States are all led off by Michael Rutt. But the Kenyan has, as I thought he might do, he's showing his intentions here by going straight into the lead. Now, the Spaniard Lopez is normally a man who hangs back. How will he run it? Well, he's on the inside there in the red and gold colours of Spain, but he's back in 4th place. It's the American Rutt who's now coming up to chase Chariot. It'll be fascinating to see how fast the first lap is. Steve Ovett.
He's going off hard, isn't he? But Rutt really has made the right decision. You've got to go after the man here. You can't let them drift. Because if you do that, they're going to get a big gap, and that's going to be comfort zone for the Kenyans. They love that sort of thing. They like to be put in a position where there's no pressure. Let's look at the time. He's gone through in a 51. He's not slowing down, is he?
No, this is just the pace that's needed for something very special. Okay, he's out on his own. Will the whole of the rest of the Kenyan team be out on their own? Can any of the other nations claw it back? We know the Poles have got two very good men at the last ones, Lewandowski and Schott, but will they be anywhere in contention? It's Chariot for Kenya with just 200 metres of this first lap to go. Then there's a, 25-metre gap back to the Americans, then the Spaniards. The Poles, who I mentioned before, are third from the back. One team just tailed off right away. It's the Kenyans really firing away here. Lopez of Spain has run really well. He's come through past Rupp into second place. But there's a big lead. It's 30 metres now as Chariot takes off for the Kenyans. He hands over. Let's see who takes in second place. Yes, it's the Spaniards, then the Americans.
So change of order for the Kenyans. We thought it was going to be Karongo on the second leg. It is in fact Job Koech Kinyo who has taken up the baton, 2013 Kenyan Championship gold medalist, and he has been given a terrific foundation on which to build by his opening leg runner, Ferguson Rotich Chariot. Spain still going well, but look at the size of the gap being opened up by the Kenyans.
And as Job Kinyo makes his way round the top of the bend, I was watching the clock. The first leg finished in almost bang on 1:45. A world record is not inconceivable.
Well, actually, we've got 1:46 on our computer screen, so 55.3 second lap, but it's still on.
Kinyo looking incredibly comfortable, and there is almost, well, that is around a 40-metre gap as we move into the second lap of this second leg. Kenya way out in front. Bermuda showing well. But Kenya, with clear daylight, this a time trial for the East African nation. But look at the back of the traffic now. Aaron Evans, the Bermudan record holder, 1:46.26 at his best, and he has got his Caribbean nation right back into contention.
And remember, as far as the Polish athletes are concerned, they've got Schott and Lewandowski to go on the two last legs. They've got their big men still yet to make an impact.
Aaron Evans could well be paying for going off so hard. He's dying a rather painful, slow death, but he's holding on. But it's all about Kinyo. Kinyo striding away, Job Koech Kinyo. And now Aaron Evans has been passed. But as we approach a change to second to third, Karongo away for Kenya. USA in second place. Johnson has it for them.
1:45.7, that second leg by Kinyo.
So Karongo heading out down the back straight. Brilliant effort by the team from Bermuda to try and stay in the mix. The Polish quartet have got a lot to do. Lewandowski has a mountain to climb here. And in second place, it is Johnson of the United States. He is on the left of picture there. Now the camera widens out and we can see Karongo, and Johnson is making an impact, I think.
Well, Johnson's a late comer to the 800 metres. He's a 400-metre hurdler especially, so he knows what pain is all about. And he's trying his best now to claw it back, but that is a massive gap that the Kenyans are opening up. And they do not relent. They just keep going on and on and on, and it's preciously close to that world record.
And a 50-second lap there for the Kenyan.
Well, he's blistering through. That's an unbelievable lap time in the relay. You're not supposed to do that, but the Kenyans don't take any notice of what they shouldn't do. They just get out there and do it.
Still a battle royal going on for third place. There's the Bermudan quartet, and now Lewandowski starting to make his quality pay, but he's going to have to work miracles here to get them back in touch with the Americans, but he is closing the gap and moving away from the rest of the field as the Australians move through into fourth place. But it is still Karongo. Can he keep it going here? Fourth in the Kenyan Championships last year. He's got a best of 1:45. It's going to be ever so tight here. A world record is a possibility. And certainly Dwayne Solomon has a big job to do for the Americans on the last leg.
Oh, the last leg down, and Kip Couture has gone off like a train. 1:44.2 man this, the world youth champion last year. He's young, he's energetic, and he's very, very enthusiastic at the moment.
But that third leg, 57.9 second, to me, 1:47.9, that third leg, so the record's out.
He died a death, didn't he, on that second lap? But nevertheless, they're going to win this race, and they're going to win it well, the Kenyans. They're going hard. Just behind him, though, Dwayne Solomon of America, this long, striding American who is very, very fast. Solomon, who was fourth at the Olympics and has run the fastest 600-metre time trial, or second fastest ever, behind his coach, Johnny Gray, is now leading this group behind. But he's got a good man behind him as well.
The world leader this year is Dwayne Solomon, 1:43.88. He's a hard-charging runner.
Well, you said he blazed off. He's just on a 49-second lap, Steve.
Well, he's going to die, but good on him. He's given everything he can, and he's holding on. They are closing, they really are. Solomon's running well. Just behind him, though, is Shot. This man can finish fast. He's got an incredible change of pace. When he can actually get past this big American is another thing, though. Dwayne Solomon is strong, he's big, and he's tall, he's pushing it on. But they are closing the gap on the Kenyan, who is now suffering after that blistering first lap. Can they close even further? He's dying, he really is, and it looks as if they may catch him. Well, can Solomon do it? The gap is now 10 metres. 8 metres to go. Shot is coming past Solomon. Can Shot close the gap and get the gold medal? Can he not? No, the Kenyan holds on. Well, Kim Couture gave everything he had, and there wasn't much there. The tank was empty, but he came through in the end. The Kenyans get it. They led from gun to tape. There was drama on that last lap of this particular race, and it got the crowd on their feet. They thought it was going to be really a dramatic